Gonna live stream again today. Hopefully the audio is working today. It wasn't yesterday on yesterday's live stream, so hoping that the audio works today. At any rate, at a house that you guys have seen a few times in the past in terms of live streaming, so let's get to it. Normally this is one I do with the turf tracer, but today I'm just going to use the Milwaukee battery mower. Flip the camera around and put it in the mount. And actually the tripod I'll leave till it's time to actually mow. So it's I went to bi-weekly mowing last time I was here. So meaning last week was the first week that I skipped this lawn for the summer. So mowing every 2 weeks now. So you can see it got quite a bit of growth there. Although they did have a watering permit for that Schaefer beetle treatment. So that will have now expired. A bit of weight here tangled up in the trimmer head. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna mulch it or bag it today. Might be easier just to bag it. There's some really tall spots there. But we'll see how it goes. If that's all the way through the lawn in the back and stuff, or if it's just an isolated spot there. I just forget over here in this little spot that when I'm using the Milwaukee mower, I don't need to trim this whole area, that I can fit the mower in here. When I'm using the turf tracer, I end up just trimming this little spot. So I'll have to remember to put the mower in there. Yesterday was a crazy day for the heat. Very warm. So luckily I had done some of today's. I started yesterday. I normally don't mow on Mondays. So you get into these, like, not only does it help that kind of 3-day mowing schedule, that when it like rains really badly, if I wanted to, I can move things around. But also here in the summer, when you get into the really hot days, I can also adjust the schedule to kind of do what's best in terms of working in the heat. So yesterday was supposed to be the hottest day of the week, a little bit hotter than today, but today's pretty darn hot. But I worked from like basically 8 until about 2 o'clock. And then I called it a day yesterday. It was just getting too hot, and kind of just before the hottest part of the day, from like 2 o'clock till about 5 or 4. It's kind of like that peak heat. And it's not too bad back here. Not too bad. A little taller around the tree. Obviously the tree's been getting some extra love in terms of watering. The tree I trimmed just a few weeks ago. I did a live stream of that. You can see it's already growing so much. Just in like 2 or 3 weeks. Those dappled willows are crazy how fast they grow. When I started trimming that tree, I was doing it maybe the first few years. It was once a year. And now, the last at least 3 years or so, I've been having to do it every, like twice a year. Customers always asking me to trim it because it's exploding the growth of that thing. Let me know what you think if you're watching. If I should bag this one or mulch it. There's a preference of what you guys want to see. We'll go either way on this one. Some green, but it's not crazy, so I could mulch it without too much extra effort. Just in those like high areas, I'll have to go over some extra, but it is warm now. So because I got a head start yesterday on my today's route, actually I was only going to do a few lines yesterday, but then I ended up doing more than expected. Because actually I went home at one point and was going to unload equipment, and then I was like, yeah. I opened the garage and I noticed my wife's car wasn't there. She had run to the store. So I was like, well, that gives me some time. I could go squeeze in another line. So I decided to do that. So I ended up doing more. That only actually left me with 4 lawns for today from my normal Tuesday route. So, what I'm going to do today is I have this one and then one more. That is my Tuesday. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll into Wednesday and start doing a bunch of those ones. And try to get some of those ones done. Client's just getting home right now. So what should I do? Should I bag or mulch? Maybe I'll just bag it right now, since I've got that set up. And cutting it 2 inches. Morning, how are you? Good, good. Oh, nice. Nice day. Yeah, just starting. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Sounds good. So I got the Milwaukee high lift blade on, but it's more of a high performance mulching blade. So see how it does in a bagging situation. Well, let me get over here and get this spot. So it'll be interesting to see in the fall when it's like the wet season how the different blades perform versus the drier conditions right now. So you can see even bagging it, you can hear the RPM changing. Now this hasn't been cut for 2 weeks, but it's about similar to it. And your spring growth, or actually in some cases this would be a lot lower than some of the regular spring growth that I would get. So, but the only difference is that in the spring, it would just be wet all the time, like soaking wet. It's damp on the front. I don't know if it's just from dew in the morning, if there's dew, or if it's been watered this morning. See the wheels are a little bit damp. They're not wet, but they're damp. So you see, like when you do a bagging, it's like one pass, it's done. Versus if I were to mulch, I have to go over a couple times in some spots. Remember to grab the tripod. The backyard. Some different angles. I'm doing these live streams, of course. The number one priority is mowing the lawn. Not so much the live stream. It's kind of a secondary thing. But I do try to get a different angle and stuff if I can using the tripod. Let's grab the tripod. I was actually able to rotate my tires this weekend on Sunday. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do them effectively because I only have one jack. I got some jack stands, but I ended up just using like a rolling jack, 3-ton rolling jack, and because the truck has a full frame, I just put it right in the middle of the door here. Kind of found the sweet spot as I started jacking up, seeing like I had it over too much one way and the front was lifting but not the rear sort of stuff. So once I found kind of the balance point, I was able to jack it right in the middle and get both wheels off the ground completely and put some jack stands for safety, of course. And I was able to rotate the tires pretty easily with a 3-ton Torrin jack from Costco. Let's see what we got so far in here. Still mowing at 2 inches here. Luckily, I have some clients like this who are watering lawns. Some of them, my commercial property, that one I have skipped now 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago was the last time I cut it. And happened to drive past it yesterday. I was kind of deciding what I was going to do this week, and it's a Thursday cut, but it's completely, because it's commercial property, it's an old farm property, so it's not like it's like nice landscaping lawns and stuff that are irrigated. There's like no sprinklers, there's nothing. So that one is completely, ironically, it's the business there is a hay They sell bales of hay, and the lawn looks like hay. It's so dry. There wasn't even any dandelions popping up. Usually on those rough lawns, because of all the compaction and stuff, you get a bunch of dandelions. And those at least will pop up pretty quick and, need to be cut to at least kind of look. But that one was nothing. Aaron H says, hello, rain day here. Hey, Aaron. Thanks for checking out the live stream. Just going to put you guys on a tripod. Get a different angle. Different view if the camera will stay up. That should work there. Let me know where you're watching from, Aaron. And what do you tend to do on your rain days? If you're not able to mow, do you just do like maintenance? We had one day of really heavy rain last week. And then this week, they're calling for rain again on Friday. And tomorrow is already supposed to start changing. So we had crazy heat, like it was breaking like records for heat in some places around here. And then it's going to like turn to start getting cloudy tomorrow, and then rain for potentially Friday and into the weekend. Chance of showers on Thursday as well. So we'll see what actually happens. But unfortunately, I'm hoping it doesn't rain on the weekend. On the Sunday, there's a they call it the Great Canadian Bug Show. It's a vintage Volkswagen car show, once a year, every August. Happens to be this weekend. I love old vintage Volkswagens. I used to have one. I restored one in my younger years. I actually found my old Volkswagen 3 years ago at this car show, 25 years after selling it. It was a different color, and he's doing nothing really today. Oh, that's nice. Enjoy the day. Oh, trying to find a spot to put this tripod, but sometimes it's difficult because of the little legs being so portable. They aren't very stable. It's kind of the trade-off with that little tripod, nice and light, extends really tall and stuff, but the legs just kind of fold into it. They're not adjustable or anything, so it makes it a little unstable, and then you get onto a lawn that's kind of lumpy. Sometimes hard finding a good spot to put it. At any rate, I found my old vintage Volkswagen that I had when I was in my 20s, early 20s. I had restored it. I made it all like California look. It was a 1963 Beetle. It's one of the nice old vintage ones. And unfortunately, in my young years, I spent a ton of money on it and made it a little too nice, like show car nice, and it was my daily driver. So then it became too much of a pain to drive it around every day because I was always worried about it. I would only ever really drive it if I was parking it somewhere, or not parking it somewhere, I should say. So basically just cruising with it. And I would take it to work. At the time, I was working at an automotive restoration shop, which helped me restore the car. But I got to park it like right out front. It was like a showpiece for the shop, kind of showed them the quality of the work and stuff. Yeah, it became more of a liability because I can leave it anywhere. At the time, I was living at home, and my parents were against me having a second car. So I ended up having to sell it to kind of get something a little more practical. So yeah, I hadn't seen it for 25 years, and it disappeared, and never saw it again. Never knew what happened to it. Didn't know if it got written off or something happened to it or whatever. Kind of just disappeared, and then happened to be at this Great Canadian Bug Show 2 years ago, and when I owned the car, it was I had painted it a turquoise green with white on the doors. It's a very like two-tone, very classic Volkswagen Beetle type scheme where they would do white on the doors on like the deluxe models. But I saw this one, and it was in the distance, and it was silver, but it still had white on the doors. Looked really nice, but the stance of it, how it was sitting, because I had lowered mine, slammed it to the ground, had the Porsche Speedster rims on it and white walls. It still had all that. So I saw it in the distance, and I pointed to it, and I told my wife, "That's my car." And she said, "You mean a car like it? Not your actual car?" I said, No, that's my car. Like I knew it instinctively, even though it looked completely different. And then upon further investigation, I was right. I found I was looking at it a little bit more closely, and the guy had a license plate frame that said 1963 Volkswagen. So I was like, okay, well, mine was a 1963. And so I was looking at it, and this guy was kind of standing around it, and then he kind of just looked at me, and he said, "Are you a previous owner of this car?" Just kind of like out of the blue. And I was like, "I think so." He's like, "Well, why do you think it was your car?" And I said, "Well, because I built it, and I did all this stuff to it that this car has, a lot of the exact same stuff." I said, "The only difference is that it used to be turquoise green." And the guy's eyes lit up, and he's like, "Dude, there's turquoise green all over this car still." That didn't. So he started to show me like spots where, when it got repainted, when I got it painted and did it, I had the car completely apart, like nothing. It was just the shell. So you got green in all the spots, right? But when it got repainted, whoever repainted it, they basically just taped up the rubbers and the moldings and things like that, so you could see the green hidden in certain spots. So I was like, yeah, there he is. That was my car. So it was a pretty cool moment, especially since when I had it, I was not married. I wasn't even dating my wife at the time. I sold it a few months before I met my wife. So I told her. She knew about the car and she'd seen photos of it. And then my son and daughter and stuff, they had heard about the car and stuff like that, but it was such a big part of my life at that time. Like most teenage boys, get their car and kind of fix it up and stuff. But they had never actually seen it. So yeah, it was cool because then my wife got to see it, and my son was with me, so he got to see it. So that was really cool. And then I became friends with the guy, and he has since come over to my house, and he's letting me drive the car again, which was surreal. He sat in the back seat and let my son sit in the front seat, so I got to drive my son in my old car. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool moment. That was like 3 years ago that I initially saw it. Last summer, is when I got to drive it. He came by. I always see him now every time I see him at car shows and stuff. I'll see the car now in town and stuff like that. It's one of those things that, I may have seen it in the past driving by, but because it's silver, I wouldn't have known it was mine if somebody's just driving by. But because I got to investigate it up close, I see it all the time now around town, and it's kind of cool. So I've actually been looking for another one ever since. Let's maybe build another one, see how it goes. Unfortunately, the guy who owns mine, he has owned it now for 17 years, probably going on 18 years now. He's owned it for as long as I've owned my truck. And he absolutely loves the car and has no plans on selling it. He's had multiple offers from people that want to buy it. And has no plans of selling it. Although he did tell me that now that he knows me, and knows that I am the person that built the car, that if he ever did consider selling it, he would put me to the top of the list, give me kind of first dibs on it. Which would be cool to buy my old car back, but we'll see. Whether I buy one or hold out to see if he'll ever sell that one. The problem with these, I'm rambling on Volkswagens, but whatever. The problem with a lot of these old Volkswagens, vintage cars nowadays, is that they're just so expensive to buy even a junker that, and Volkswagens have gotten such a following now that the people that own them, think they're worth a crazy ton, when it's like, it's, some of these guys want crazy money. It's like, dude, it's a Volkswagen Beetle. Like, yes, it's cool, but the reality is they made 22 million of them. It's not rare. Even, 60, 70 years later, there's lots of them. Right. If you guys could see that last little spot there. That was behind that tree. Does the camera catch that area? Yeah, a little bit. Let's see. Darth Sidious. Hey, Darth Sidious, welcome back. Says hi all. So we got that one done. There. See how much clippings we got on this back. About the same as the front. About half a bag or so. Uh-oh. There was a piece of wood here. Did it fall in here? Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. Just keep the lid open so it doesn't smell. Must have fallen when I dumped that last bag. It looks nice back here. Nice and green. Yeah, pretty close.
I didn't know whether it was too soon to put this out.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna blow off now. I'll take it. I just need to blow off now. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Needed this kind of weather.
Yeah, I know it's been so hot. Thank you. So nice. She always brings me a cold Coke Zero every week when it's the hot summer months. Always appreciate it. It is warm. Very warm. Today I am running pretty light, as you can see. Just trimmer, handheld blower, and the battery mower. Because I had done some of those lawns yesterday for today. Normally I have all my turf tracer lawns on Tuesdays. But because I did a bunch yesterday, I had the turf tracer with me yesterday. So the only one I had left that I would normally use a turf tracer on for today was this one. But I didn't want to load the turf tracer and carry it around all day and then have to unload it and load it just for one lawn. Every other lawn I'm doing is going to be push mow, including the ones that I'm going to go into doing on the, getting a head start on my Wednesdays. They're all push mows too. So I thought I'll just push mow this one. It's not a big deal. Being able to use the turf tracer on some of these is basically a bonus, but some of the ones that I do are just not really necessary. I could push mow almost all of them, but if I can fit, because I have a bigger mower, if I can fit those larger mowers on those properties, I will. The reality is, except for maybe except for the commercial one that I have, it's the only one that wouldn't make sense to push mow. That one's like an acre. Trying to think what the second biggest. That's the biggest one that I do is 1 acre of lawn. The second biggest one drops to about trying to think. It's probably half acre. And then after that, everything else is like smaller than a quarter acre. So it's this sort of thing where if I can get the turf tracer on them, where I can get it into the backyard, then I'll try to use it at times. But it's not the worst thing if I have to push mow them, because with the turf tracer, for most part, I'm walking behind it anyways. I'm not using the sulky in a lot of cases. It's just not worth bringing out today for just this one. Oh, I'm gonna have to put her bill, but I'll do that in a second in the mail. But yeah, let me flip this back around. Front camera. So there you go, guys. That is that particular lawn. Yeah, just looking at the time, 10:46 here. So a bit earlier than I would normally be streaming, but that's because of the kind of just how it worked out with getting a head start on some of them. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate you guys tuning in to watch this live stream. Thanks to Aaron H. In Michigan for the live chat comments, and to Darth Sidious for his live chat comments on a regular basis. Appreciate that. And then to everybody else who kind of just lurking and watching. Appreciate you guys all watching the stream. If you like these types of live streams, as I always say, hit that like button and consider subscribing. And then hit that notification bell. That's the only way you're going to know when I do live streams like this. If you enjoy them, I can't predict when they're going to happen. Just too many different situations, too many variables that can affect the live stream, whether it's possible or not to do. So I only know when I get to a lawn, can kind of see the situation and cell phone signal and all that sort of stuff. So the best way to know is just to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And then YouTube will let you know right away as soon as I go live. So I think that's going to be it for this one. If you're watching this after the fact, you can for sure add a comment to the comment section, and I will get back to you if you have any questions. But that's about it for this one. It's too hot to be sitting in the truck chatting for too long, so I'm going to call it, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.